Better than the Brahmana who knows the purpose of the Vedas is he who can dissipate all doubts. And better than him is one who strictly follows the Brahmanical principles. Better than him is one who is liberated from all material contamination. And better than him is a pure devotee who executes devotional service without expectation of reward. So, Lord Kapila is explaining gradations of, first, like we heard in previous verses, living entities, gradations of living entities. Then coming to the human platform, now gradations of human beings. Right? So there are 4 lakh species of human beings, and Srila Prabhupada explains that they are distinguished based on their consciousness, their understanding of the Vedas, Vedic scriptures. And this is how we are seeing in these verses also, that how Lord Kapila is classifying them based on their understanding and practice of Vedas. So in Bhagavad Gita, the importance of Vedas, the Vedic principles and the ultimate goal of Vedas is very nicely mentioned, very clearly mentioned. But even before that, Lord distinguishes in 16th chapter, the title of 16th chapter is Divine and Demonic Nature. Right? So what is the difference between people with divine qualities and demonic qualities? So in 16th chapter purport, Prabhupada explains of the 6th verse. The verse goes like this: O son of Pritha, in this world there are 2 kinds of created beings. One is called the divine and the other demonic. I have already explained to you at length the divine qualities. Now hear from me of the demoniac. So there are two categories of people, demoniac people and divine people. Now we are discussing in this verse divine people. Right? In divine people also there are classifications, gradations. But what is the fundamental difference between these two, demonic and divine? Because all are human beings. So how are they segregated? So, purport, Prabhupada explains, those who are born with divine qualities follow a regulated life. That is to say, they abide by the injunctions in scriptures and by the authorities. So this is the difference. The people with divine qualities, they follow a regulated life and they abide by the scriptural injunctions or injunctions given by authorities. Right? Bona fide spiritual master, even Brahmanas are also authorities in religious knowledge. Further, one should perform duties in the light of authoritative scripture. This mentality is called divine. One who does not follow the regulative principles as they are laid down in the scriptures and who acts according to his whims is called demonic or asuric. So any person who is not following the Shastra, the rules given by Shastra, or who is not following the authority, he is exhibiting demonic nature. So the difference is, the clear-cut difference is abiding by the scriptures and not abiding by the scriptures. Abiding by the authority and not abiding by the authority. Right? Further, there is no other criterion but obedience to the regulative principles of the scriptures. It is mentioned in the Vedic literature that both the demigods and the demons are born of the Prajapati. The only difference is that one class obeys the Vedic injunctions and the other does not. Right? So there is no other criterion but obedience to the regulative principles of scriptures. So important are the scriptures that if somebody doesn't follow the scriptures, then he is immediately classified as demoniac. Somebody who doesn't follow the authority, he is immediately classified as demoniac. Right? So now the discussion has come in today's verse about those who follow the scriptures. To follow the scriptures, one should know the scriptures. Now there are many. See, better than the Brahmanas who know the purpose of the Vedas is he who can dissipate all doubts. And in the previous verse, among the Brahmanas, one who has studied the Vedas is the best. Among the Brahmanas, one who has studied the Vedas is the best. Okay. And among the Brahmanas who have studied the Vedas, one who knows the actual purport of Veda is the best. So first category is those who have studied the Vedas. They are also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Those who have studied the Vedas. They are mentioned where? They are mentioned in the 2nd chapter. Right, 42nd and 43rd verse. Yamimam pushpitam vacha pravadanti avipaschita vedvad ratha partha nanyat asti iti vadina. Vedvad ratha partha. O Partha, son of Pratha, vedvad ratha. So Vedvadis means they have studied the scriptures. But they are considered amongst the those who have studied the scriptures, these are considered as the lowest. Why? Because Lord also is saying in Bhagavad Gita, avipaschitaha. Vipaschita means intelligent. Vipra, vipaschita, those who know, they are called vipaschita. Avipaschita means less intelligent. Why they are less intelligent? They have studied the Vedas. They are Vedvada. Vedvadis means they are thorough in the Vedas. They are dwell in the Vedas. You know, Ved mein lage hue hain puri tarah se. But still they are called avipaschita. Here also it is said they are the lowest, better than them, better than them, better than them, like that. You know, classification is happening. Because they are bewildered by Yamimam Pushpitam Vacham. Flowery words of the Vedas. That means Vedas have certain flowery words which are meant to bewilder, which are meant for less intelligent. So just somebody, just randomly somebody runs into you and says, I have studied, I am from Kashi or I am from Banaras or somewhere, Haridwar, and I have studied Vedas, I can recite Vedas. But if you ask them, what is the goal of life? What is the purpose of life? Then immediately they will utter the Pushpitam Vacham of the Vedas and you will immediately know they are avipaschita. Right? Many times it happens. Some people come like that. They'll have big red tilak, some thick malas in neck, that silky, colorful kurta and one bright orange color dhoti. A red thread will be here. And they'll have nice shikha and they'll say, I have come from Haridwar. I recite 4 Vedas nicely. Please admit me in your ashram. So we'll ask them, what is the goal of life? First you tell, this ashram is not meant for Vedvadis or those who have studied Vedas. This ashram is meant for some other purpose. This ashram is meant to attain Krishna under the shelter of bona fide spiritual master Srila Prabhupada. He has appointed Gaura Vani Pracharine. This is our purpose. This is the goal of this temple, this ashram. The Gaura Vani that Srila Prabhupada has given, we follow that. We follow the instructions given by Prabhupada. That is our study of scriptures. That is our learning of the scriptures. So they'll not be able to tell the real purpose of life. But then they'll say, I can do Satyanarayana Katha very nicely. I can do this part, Sundarkand part very nicely. I can do that thing very nicely. Right? I can do marriage ceremony very nicely. Annaprashan very nicely. So these kind of things they'll tell. But the goal of life is missed out. So Yamimam Pushpitam Vacham Pravadanti Avipaschita. So they are all attracted towards happy life, wealthy life, secure life, flourishing business, flourishing family. And they look for such clients, such yajmans who want that. And Paramatma makes them to meet each other and they do their ritualistic processes. But they are considered to be lowest. So then Lord immediately says to Arjuna in the next upcoming verses. See, very interestingly Lord points out to Arjuna, because Arjuna was speaking on those terms. What was Arjuna speaking? That Kul Dharma will be lost, traditions will be lost, and if this war happens, all the senior members of the family, they are there. All the senior elderly men, responsible men who are taking care of the family, fathers are there, grandfathers are there, husbands are there. What will happen to their children, grandchildren, their wives, those who are dependent on them? And they are the people who transfer this knowledge, who transfer family tradition to next generation, next generation. If they die in this war, then families will be left as orphans. Nobody to take care. And the traditions which are coming down, they'll also be lost. Now also you see, even though fathers, grandfathers are all alive, but where is the tradition? They've all forgotten actually. And generation after generation, more degradation happens. Right? More rituals are left out, more religious procedures are left out or forgotten, or some things are done just for namesake. The purpose, the intent, or the real core principle is lost. So in this way, degradation is already happening. Even though nobody is dying, all fathers, grandfathers are alive, still it's dying. So Arjuna was worried about this. Right? So what will happen to these Vedic principles? So Lord says, beyond these Vedic principles is your duty towards Krishna, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. Right? Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. So you are quoting from the scriptures, Arjuna. You are quoting from the scriptures. What is Arjuna quoting from the scriptures? Sin will come, or Kul Dharma will be lost, Strishu, they will become Dushit, polluted, Varna Sankara Jayate, Varna Sankara will happen, Pindotaka Kriya will be lost, no Pindan will happen. So all these things Arjuna is telling. So Lord is telling, you are quoting from the Vedas. It's very good that you are quoting from the Vedas, nice. But you are quoting flowery words of the Vedas. That is avipaschitaha. That's why Lord scolded Arjuna in the second verse. Kutastva kashmalam midam vishame samupasthitam. Three things he said. Anarya jushtam, aswargyam, akirtikaram Arjuna. You are talking like anarya. An Arya person, Arya means who is advanced in spiritual knowledge, who practices spiritual knowledge. He does not speak like this. So you are talking anarya. Aswargyam, your acts, your thoughts, your words will not take you to heaven. They'll take you to hell. So anarya, aswargyam, and akirti. People will defame you for this cowardice, the cowardly behavior you are exhibiting. So in this way, Lord has criticized Arjuna with three words: anarya, aswargyam, and akirtikaram. Right? Now Lord is explaining to Arjuna in this section. Right? This section is the Buddhi Yoga section of Bhagavad Gita, second chapter. Right? Lord says in the previous verse that I have explained to you, Esha te bhita sankhye buddhi yoge buddhir yoge tumam shunu. Abhi tak maine tumko sankhya bataya. Till now I have spoken the sankhya knowledge. Thus far I have declared to you the analytical knowledge of sankhya philosophy. Now buddhir yoge tumam shunu. Now hear the buddhi yoga. So you have quoted the Vedas, very nice, but you have taken the wrong part of the Vedas. Now Lord explains what is that wrong part. Traigunya Vishya Veda Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. You have taken that part of the Vedas which deals with the three modes of material nature, Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamagun, and it entangles the Jiva into it again and again. So this, what is that entanglement? Yamimam Pushpitam Vacham. Right? Yamimam Pushpitam Vacham. Men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets, resultant good birth, power, and so forth. Somebody doesn't have progeny, they get progeny. Somebody wants wealth, he gets wealth. Somebody wants to conquer enemy, he gets that thing. So many things are there like that. Somebody wants to become a siddha, you float in the sky. So many things are there like that, mystic powers. So there are so many these kind of things which distract a person from the real goal. So Traigunya Vishya Veda, these three gunas are generating different materialistic desires, and this portion of Vedas is catering to those desires. You got entangled in that, Arjuna. So you are talking like Anarya, Aswargyam, Akirtikaram. Anarya means you are not talking from the spiritual point of view of the Vedas, you are talking from the material aspects of the Vedas. Now Lord quotes this shloka. Traigunya Vishya Veda Nistraigунyo Bhavarjuna. You keep aside, Vedas talk majorly. The translation is the Vedas mainly deal with the subject of the three modes of material nature. So Vedas mainly deal with three modes. You keep that part aside, Arjuna. Nistragun Bhava Arjuna. So rise above these modes, Arjuna. Be transcendental to all of them. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties. Anxieties of what? For gain and safety, and be established in the self. So you take up that part of the Vedas which talks about elevation of the self. So this is how, now this is what we are reading. That better than those who have studied the Vedas. Okay? Among the Brahmanas who have studied the Vedas, one who knows the actual purport of the Veda is the best. So now Lord is telling, you come to the platform of realizing the self or being established in the self. Now being established in the self means knowing that I am not this body, I am spirit soul. Right? Even they also know I am spirit soul, I'll go to heaven. After body dies, I'll go to heaven. But what entails the knowledge of Brahman? I am not the body, I am spirit soul or Brahman. Brahma janati iti brahmana. Okay? So one who knows Brahman means I have nothing to do with this material world. I have to get liberated from this material world. This is higher knowledge. Right? So first category is what? Traigunya Vishya Veda, Pushpitam Vacha, they are the first category. Who want to stay in this world, go to heaven, enjoy, get more benefits in this world, enjoy more material pleasures. They are first category who are approaching the Vedas. Higher than those are those who want liberation. They also know I am not this body, I am spirit soul. Being a spirit soul, I have nothing to do with this material happiness. This material creation, this material entanglement, I should get liberated. But they don't know after liberation where to go. Right? So they don't know after liberation where to go. So they also study Vedas. So their mention is in the 8th chapter. In 8th chapter, Lord explains that those who have risen above this three modes or material happiness, they aspire for liberation in Brahman. Persons learned in the Vedas utter Omkar. Okay, so they are also Veda students, or they also study the Vedas. Persons learned in the Vedas who utter Omkar and who are great sages in the renounced order enter into Brahman. So they are better than the Vedvad Ratha Partha, Pushpitam Vacha people. Nistragun Bhava Arjuna. So they have crossed the three modes of nature. Right? Krishna says, Traigunya Vishya Veda, Nistragun Bhava Arjuna, Nirdandva Nitya Sattvasto, Niryogakshema Atmavan. So they have understood that, okay, we have to become Atmavan. But what is that Atmavan? It is limited to, I have to denounce this material world and get liberated from this, establish myself in the Brahman platform or the platform of spirit soul, spiritual existence. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. Na Shochati na Kankshati. Right? So that is the platform they attain. They attain Brahma Jyoti, Nirakar Brahma. So this is also another level of study of the Vedas. At least they know that Vedas are meant to liberate from the material world. So this is explained by Lord in 15th chapter. See, there are so many chapters which talk about the Vedas and the purport or the purpose of the Vedas, the goal of the Vedas. Now in 15th chapter, this part is explained by the Lord in this way, which these Brahmavadis, they understood and they pick up. But the finer aspect, because 15th chapter is called Purushottam Yoga, and how Purushottam Yoga ends, we will see. The Lord says, 15th chapter, first verse, the blessed Lord said, there is a banyan tree which has its roots upward and the branches downward, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. Okay. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. So, again knower of the Vedas has come. So, there is one category who have not known the Vedas, they have just picked up Traigunya. Nistragun Bhava Arjuna. Now, what do these knower of the Vedas know? That there is a tree which is upside down. Correct? Which is upside down. What is that upside down? It's a reflection of the original tree. Right? We all know this analogy very well. There is an original banyan tree, and when you go to a lakeside, a river body, and you stand across that river body, you see, on the other shore of the lake, there is a tree. Then its reflection will be visible in that water of the lake, upside down. So the real tree is the spiritual world, and the reflection tree is the material world, which is exactly a replica of the original tree. So we are entrapped in this reflection tree. So one who knows this banyan tree, that okay, this is a reflection tree, this is a perverted reflection of the original tree. There is an original tree also. One who knows this actually knows the Vedas. So this is the third class of people, third category of people. When the Brahmabhuta Prasannatma enters into bhakti, he knows Vishte Tat Anantaram. There is a Vaikuntha also. Right? First is materially engrossed people in the Vedas. Second, those who are aspiring for liberation. Third, beyond liberation, they know there is a spiritual world also. Beyond Brahma Jyoti, there is a spiritual world. So one who knows this tree, that where I am stuck up is not the real creation, real existence, it's the perverted reflection of the original existence. Then he has known the Vedas properly. Right? So, its branches are down and the leaves are, the roots are upwards and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. Now, what do these Vedic hymns do? So, there are varieties of Vedic hymns. There are varieties of Vedic injunctions. Some hymns are leaves. From one leaf to another, they'll take you. Some hymns are meant to liberate, and some hymns are meant to cross this reflected banyan tree and go to the spiritual world. Now the Lord says further, one who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. Prabhupada explains in the purport. The material reflection of the real tree is to be cut off. When it is said that a person knows the Vedas, it is assumed that he knows how to cut off attachment to the material world. Okay, first category ruled out, Pushpitam Vacha. Second category knows how to cut off the material world. And they are getting into Brahma Jyoti, so which is outside material world. If one knows that process, he actually knows the Vedas. One who is attracted by the ritualistic formulas of the Vedas is attracted by beautiful green leaves of the tree. He does not exactly know the purpose of the Vedas. The purpose of the Vedas, as disclosed by the personality of Godhead himself, is to cut down this reflected tree and attain the real tree of the spiritual world. Right? So this is the actual purpose. One who knows this actually knows the Vedas. So there are three categories of people who know the Vedas, and finally these are the devotees. Right? Because only a devotee can understand Vaikuntha, only a devotee can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagwan, Purushottam. And then out of those who know this, Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagwan. Now next it says, better than him who is liberated from all material contamination, and better than him is one who is liberated from all material contamination, that is, who have attained Brahman. And better than him is a pure devotee who executes devotional service without expectation of reward. Now 15th chapter talks about execution of devotional service. Next verses say, the real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world because it's a spiritual planet, spiritual Goloka. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, and where its foundation is, this perverted tree. But with determination, one must cut down this tree with the weapon of detachment. Traigunya Vishya Veda Nistraigun Bhavarjuna. Why one has to cut down? Because this tree is nourished. This tree is nourished by three modes of material nature. So one has to become free from three modes. So I want to disconnect from this tree, detach from this tree and enter spiritual world. We have to disconnect, or we have to become free from the three modes. As long as three modes are there, material desires will be there, material desires will bind us to this creation. That's why Lord says, Traigunya Vishya Veda Nistragun Bhava Arjuna. Because you are talking on the platform of three modes, you will be entangled here. So, Nir-Yogakshemam Atmavan, become Atmavan. So, here it is said that one has to cut down with the weapon of detachment. So doing, while doing this, okay. But with determination, one must cut down this tree with the weapon of detachment. So, detachment is the only way one can, detachment is the only way by which one can come out of this perverted tree. That means Vedas teach detachment. If we are not developing detachment, we are actually not the knowers of the Vedas. Right? Yamyam Pushpitam Vacha increases attachment. But there is another part of the Vedas which teaches detachment. Right? So doing, one must seek that place. While detaching from this world, at the same time, one must seek that place. Which place? The original tree. One must seek that place from which, having once gone, one never returns. That means one should seek the spiritual kingdom, after reaching where one will never return. Right? So Lord says that is mine. Tad dhama paramam mama. Yad gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. So search for that place in the Vedas. So now Vedas mention Golok namni nij dhamni tale chatasya. Right? Tad dhama paramam mama. That is my divine abode, transcendental supreme abode. So in this way one has to, what aspect of the Vedas one has to pick up? This is mentioned by the Lord. And one never returns, having gone there, and there surrender to that supreme personality of Godhead from whom everything has begun. So surrender to the Purushottama. Tameva chadyam purusham prapadde. Tam eva. Definitely, certainly one has to surrender to that Supreme Lord. Purusham prapadde. So what is now further? Now this verse says in the Bhagavatam, who executes devotional service, superior to one who knows the purpose of the Vedas is one who executes devotional service. So now Vedas purpose is clear, detached from material world, attached to the spiritual world. Superior to this knowledge is execution of the principles of devotional service. Now what are those? Next verse says, that's why 15th chapter is so important, Purushottam Yoga. Next verse says, what is that execution of devotional service? One who is free from illusion, false prestige and false association. So execution of devotional service entails that we cultivate these things. Free from illusion. What is that illusion? The moment we forget we are part and parcel of Krishna, we are meant to serve Krishna, and we start engaging in sense gratification, we are under illusion. So one has to be constantly vigilant that I am doing service, authorized service, assigned by authorities, obedience to Shastra, obedience to Guru, obedience to authorities, constantly, then he'll be free from illusion. So this constant monitoring has to happen. False prestige, one does not claim proprietorship or ownership, or one does not claim success, to be his own over anything. Okay. And false association, one who is not entangled in worldly material prajalpa or these kind of material possessions, material ownership or these kind of things, or such association which is not progressive towards devotional service. Then who understands the eternal. So one who knows his own eternal existence and the supreme eternal existence, Sanatana. Right. Then who is done with material lust and is freed from the duality of happiness and distress. He is done with material lust. He has nothing to do with sense gratification, lust, greed, anger, anything. Right? He is totally Vinivritta Kama, Nivritta, done with totally. He has nothing to do, no interest at all. He doesn't struggle to keep himself aloof from these things. He is totally disinterested in all these things. He has nothing to do with them at all. So much he has given up those things. And who knows how to surrender unto the Supreme Person, attains to that eternal kingdom. So he knows the process of execution of devotional service, which is mentioned in 11th chapter. Right? That 55th verse is there, no? Gita Sar. Mat karmakrin, mat parmo, mad bhakta, sangha varjita. Sangha varjita means without any jnana karmadi anavratam, without influence of jnana and karma who executes. Anukulyana Anushilanam, who executes as instructed with the right mood, with a suitable, appropriate mood, with a pleasant mood. So one who does these things, giving up all material bondages, material entanglements, and who knows the eternal and who knows this process of surrender, he attains to that kingdom. After having said all this 15th chapter, the Lord says 19th and 20th verses. What is that very interesting things he is spoken in 19th and 20th? Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why? Because in 15th shloka, Lord says, what is the purpose of the Vedas? By all Vedas, I am to be known. Vedesha sarver aham eva vedyo. Right? So the purpose of Vedas is detach from this banyan tree, perverted banyan tree, and go to the original banyan tree, that is the spiritual kingdom. So the purpose of the Vedas is to know Krishna, to know the process of surrender, to search for the spiritual kingdom. One who does this, he is liberated and enters that Vishtetat Anantaram. He goes to that, Tad Dhama Paramam Mama, goes to that eternal kingdom. Right? And I am the compiler of the Vedas and I am the knower of the Vedas. Now Lord says, one who follows this process of 15th chapter, right, Purushottam Yoga, whoever knows me as a Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting. Now this comes here, that he is free from all doubts. He, better than the Brahmana who knows the purpose of the Vedas, is he who can dissipate all doubts. Who can dissipate all doubts. So he has no doubt about the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has no doubt about the position of Brahman, no doubt about the position of Paramatma, and no doubt about the position of Bhagwan. So one who knows Krishna as Bhagwan, and one has to approach Krishna as Bhagwan. Right? He is knowing Krishna in full without doubt. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not as a Nirakar Brahma or the localized Paramatma, both are his aspects, both are his features, but originally what he is, Supreme Personality of Godhead, without doubting, is to be understood as the knower of everything. Now his study of Vedas is complete. He is the knower of everything. Right? And he therefore engages himself in full devotional service, O son of Bharata. So exactly the verse under discussion today is explained like this elaborately. Sometimes we see Bhagavad Gita verses are elaborately explained in Bhagavatam. Like that, this Bhagavatam verse is also so elaborately or detailedly explained in Bhagavad Gita. They both are, of course, Krishna Katha, and they both complement each other like that. So many places you will see in Bhagavatam purports, Prabhupada quotes, in Bhagavad Gita it is mentioned. And so many places in Gita purports you will see Prabhupada says, in Bhagavatam it is mentioned like that. So they both go parallelly. Now, after having said this, that who knows Krishna as the Purushottam, Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? He is free from all doubts, he knows everything, and he engages in Krishna's loving devotional service. Full devotional service. Next verse, Lord says, this is the last verse of 15th chapter. This is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures. What is the most confidential part of Vedic scriptures? Knowing Krishna as Purna Purushottam Bhagavan. That's why this chapter is titled as Purushottam Yoga. Right? Knowing Krishna as the Purna Purushottam Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the greatest of all. The previous verse says, 18th verse very nicely explains, because I am transcendental beyond both the fallible and infallible. Jivas here and the spiritual world. Because I am the greatest. Purushottama, I am the greatest. Shrestha. Correct? I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as that Supreme Person. Atosmi loke vetecha pratita Purushottamaha. So one who knows Krishna like this, he is the knower of everything. Now 20th verse, conclusion of the Vedic study. Right? What is the conclusion of the Vedic study? This is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures, O sinless one. Okay? Most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures, O sinless one. and it is disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection. So, such a powerful verse it is. The Lord is saying that I have disclosed to you the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures. Now your Vedic study is complete, Arjuna. Right? So, what is that? What is the result? Whoever understands this will become wise. So, till now, those who are studying the Vedas, they are studying Vedas, they are doing something good. But real wisdom is knowing Krishna without doubt as the Purushottama and engaging in his full devotional service. And his endeavors will know perfection. What is that endeavor? To attain perfection, to attain Goloka is the endeavor. Only he will attain Goloka, nobody else will attain Goloka. Right? So to come to this platform, and this is so readily in one Bhagavad Gita and one Bhagavatam, Prabhupada is readily given to us. Without having to put endeavor of studying all the Vedas and then figuring out what is the ultimate goal. No, Prabhupada so readily, so lucidly, with purpose, translations, word to word meanings, easy flowing. Prabhupada has presented all these to us to give us that highest perfection in this very life, for which Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanvan Mam Prapadyate. Those who study the Vedas, even they take many, many births. Jnanvan means those who study the Vedas, who have knowledge of Vedas. They take many, many births to understand Vasudeva Sarvamiti. And superior to those who know Vasudeva Sarvamiti are those who engage in devotional service. All that is clubbed together. Prabhupada has clubbed together all those things and presented us readily here. So, in this way, those who are following, proper Bhakti Yoga, Anukulyana Anushilanam as given by Prabhupada, their Vedic study is complete. The goal of Vedic knowledge is already, they are on the path of attaining that within this very life. Whatever is one's position, Lord says in 13th chapter, Lord says, whatever is his position, one who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, this perverted banyan tree, the living entity we and interactions of the mode, is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth here again, regardless of his present position. Whatever is one's present position, if one understands where we are stuck up, where we are supposed to go, this 15th chapter gives the essence. Details are there, so many details are there in Bhagavad Gita entire and Bhagavatam entirely. But one who understands this, whatever is his position presently, learned, not learned, educated, not educated, whatever is his position, he knows scriptures or does not know scriptures, doesn't matter. In this very life, he'll go back to Godhead. He will not take birth again in this material world. That is the assurance given. So this is how one attains the perfection of Vedic study. And in this very life, he attains the highest destination. That is the spiritual kingdom. So we'll stop here. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Vishwa Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.